Hello everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Kevin if you are new. And today we are going to tackle some fun household projects. Just plugging in my mixer here. And the first thing we are going to do is make some hamburger buns. Now these buns are super simple to make and they are super delicious to eat. So I need 1 cup or about 240 mils of warm water and 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast. And then we need to whisk the yeast and the water together. And I already know that my yeast is good, meaning it is viable, so I do not need to proof it first. So now we can add 1 large egg. Whisk that in. 3 tablespoons of melted butter. I'm going to melt mine in the microwave. In it goes. And then I need 2 tablespoons of sugar. 1 1/2 teaspoons of regular table salt. And 3 1/2 cups or 490 grams of regular all-purpose or plain flour. And I'm going to weigh out my flour. I forgot to set this to 0. There we go. $492 grams, close enough. Put this away. I'm going to stir in about half of this flour, just to moisten the flour. I'm going to use my stand mixer to knead the dough, but honestly, you can knead the dough entirely by hand, just as I have done many times. It's great exercise. And then once that first bit of flour is moistened, go ahead and add the remaining flour. Now we can attach the dough hook. I will knead this dough until it becomes smooth and elastic and only slightly sticky. That will take from 7 to 9 minutes. I can link the printable recipe in the description below. While the dough is kneading, I can clean up my workstation. I store my yeast in the freezer. All right, my dough is fully kneaded. It looks beautiful. Now you know the dough is fully kneaded when it becomes smooth and elastic, as this is. And I need my bowl, a clean bowl. I'm going to lightly grease it with some vegetable spray. I need to dampen my hand. You want to use damp fingers to scrape the dough from the bowl onto a non-floured work surface. My work surface is this marble board. You can buy one of these boards in any kitchen supply store, or I can link it in the description below. This beautiful dough. I'm going to form this into a rough ball. And then we can place it in the bowl. And then flip the dough to grease the other side. And then cover it with a damp towel or cling film. And then we need to put this in a warm location to let the dough proof or rise until it's about doubled in volume. That's going to take anywhere from 90 minutes to 2 hours. And while the dough is rising, we can head outside. I need to plant some more of those wonderful French filet beans. And I think we can also go to the farm store because I want to buy some lettuce seedlings. Well, I want to see if the farm store even has any lettuce seedlings because I recently pulled up all of my bolted lettuce and I really miss having lettuce in the garden. So let me clean up here and then we can head outside. It can be challenging to find lettuce seedlings in early July. I was only able to find radicchio starts here at the farm store. Back home, we are in the tiny herb garden. To make room to plant seeds and to plant this radicchio, first need to harvest my chives. I'm going to cut them right down to the ground. And when you cut chives, you always want to cut as close to the ground as possible. And I will clean up these chives and process them. Chives make my very favorite pesto. And these chives will immediately start growing again. I will be able to get another big harvest of chives, probably a month from now. So now I have space to plant these cilantro seeds. We can put the radicchio over here where they will be partially shaded by the celery. Now this radicchio will turn red and it will form perfectly round heads with very tightly wound leaves. It's a great addition for salads. Finding a lot of worms, that's always a good sign. And to make room for my French filet beans, I'm going to pull up my radishes. Would someone please invent a kink-proof hose? Well, this hose was supposed to be kink-proof. It kinks all the time. Now, I only need to water in the seeds and the radicchio. And I do have irrigation in this bed, but when I plant seeds or transplants, I always like to give them a good soaking by hand initially. Wow, this dough has more than doubled in volume, but that's all right. I'm going to punch it down, and then I want to weigh it out because we are going to divide the dough into 8, hopefully equal portions. to make 8 hamburger buns. Let's see how much this weighs. 833 grams. Hey Siri, what is 833 divided by 8? 104. Thank you. 104. Now you could simply divide this dough into 8 roughly equal pieces. I'm just trying to be a little more precise here. So we're looking for 104 grams or thereabouts. There's 104. This dough, set it over here, and then I will finish weighing out the rest of the dough. We are all weighed out here. So now, I need my baking sheet, which I have lined with parchment. So to form these into rolls, I simply pat out the dough, and then I take the ends and I fold them over towards the center. This is to create surface tension. And then, on a non-floured surface, take the cup of my hand, or rather the palm of my hand, and form it into a cup shape, and roll. You end up with a perfect little sphere. And this goes right onto the baking sheet. Now we can cover these with a damp cloth once again, set them in a warm location, and let them double in volume. That will take from 30 to 45 minutes. All right. Our dough has doubled in volume, and when I had this damp towel on the dough stuck to the towel, okay? So I took a sheet of cling film, sprayed it with vegetable spray, and then used that to cover the rolls. Now I want to give them an egg wash. Or really, it's just beaten egg. And of course, the egg will encourage the hamburger buns to color beautifully in the oven. And my oven is preheating to 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 degrees Celsius. So now I'm going to top these hamburger buns with some toasted sesame seeds. You can always top the buns with poppy seeds instead of sesame seeds, or you need not top them with any seeds at all. Now, these are ready for the oven, 15 to 17 minutes. These hamburger buns turned out just great, but they always do. This is probably my 24th time making these buns. I'm going to let the buns cool for a bit, and I decided that instead of traditional hamburgers, I'm going to make bean burgers for dinner. But before we do that, I need to vacuum the stairs, and I want to show you the new vacuum I bought specifically for my stairs. So this, my friends, is the Black & Decker Dust Buster Fur Buster. I have been searching and searching for a handheld cordless vacuum that honestly picks up pet hair. Let's check it out on this staircase. So this gadget has 2 speeds. Here's regular. Here's hyperdrive. And it has a little battery display here so you can know how much juice you have left. And then this thing pops right off. That's the little motor head. And then you have this crevice tool. Anyway, this is my new best friend. It used to take me 20 minutes to vacuum these stairs with my Shark, and I do love my Shark vacuum cleaner, but it's not great for stairs. This motor head has rubber bristles, and the bristles really grab onto the pet hair and pull it up. They grab onto pet hair and everything else. You can probably buy this in any hardware store, or I can link it in the description below. As I said earlier, I used to spend 20 minutes vacuuming the stairs. Thanks to this cleverly designed fur buster, I can now accomplish the job in less than 5 minutes. It feels great to have those stairs vacuumed, and so easily vacuumed too. So let's get cracking on the bean burgers. I'm going to mix everything by hand, so I do want to wear gloves. I always feel like a doctor when I put these blue food prep gloves on. So I have two 15.5 ounce cans of black beans here, which I rinsed and drained. Put those into a bowl, and each can was 439 grams. Then I need 1 cup, or roughly 90 grams, of dry seasoned breadcrumbs. I'm using gluten-free breadcrumbs today because I happen to have them on hand. 1 large egg. I also need a diced onion. I only need a small handful of diced onion, so we won't use the entire onion. I will save the rest of that onion for another recipe. Then we need some seasonings. I'm using a ½ teaspoon of ground cumin, a ½ teaspoon of chili powder, and for a little kick, I'm adding a ¼ teaspoon or thereabouts of crushed red chili flakes. Then we can mix everything together. What's great about these burgers is that they actually hold their shape. In other words, they don't fall apart when you flip them. As they fry, they develop a beautiful crust. These are my favorite bean burgers of all time. Now, I'm only mashing the beans to break up some of them. The other beans I want left whole. That gives the burgers a very meaty texture. Now we can form the burgers. You can make 8 small burgers out of this recipe or 4 large burgers. I'm going to do 4 large. Although I do eat meat, I try not to eat meat every day. And these burgers are meaty but meatless. Let me fetch my skillet. Butter, olive oil. Once the butter foam starts to subside, I add the burgers. And I cook them for just 5 minutes on each side. Look at that crust. Beautiful. Now we can pull these hamburger buns apart. I'm going to freeze some of these buns. And what I do is split the buns in half through the middle first before I freeze. And I'm going to reserve 2 of these buns for our late lunch or early dinner. Just check out the interior or the crumb of these hamburger buns. Really beautiful. Pickled onions. These are the pickled onions that you and I made together in a previous episode. They are super delicious. I've already gone through 2 jars of them. Butter leaf lettuce. A little more ketchup. I am also serving homemade coleslaw with this meal. I can link my coleslaw recipe in the description below. Et voila! A homemade bean burger on a homemade hamburger bun. I think we should enjoy this burger in some shady spot outdoors. Coleslaw. This, my friends, is what I consider to be the perfect coleslaw. And I love that hint of sweetness from the honey. And I just realized that this is a mighty hefty bean burger. Hefty, but oh, so delicious. The hamburger bun is exquisite. I mean, it's yeasty and fresh and soft and wonderful. And I do love the sesame seeds on top. And the bean burger itself is, well, as I described earlier, it's meaty without containing any actual meat, and the seasonings are just right. Thank you for spending time with me today as we made these homemade hamburger buns and the bean burgers, and we tackled various household projects. If you are new, I hope you will consider subscribing, and be sure to tap the little bell icon to receive notifications every time I upload a new video. We do a lot of cooking on this channel, as well as household and garden beautification projects. Again, thank you for spending time with me today. I really cherish your company. I can put a couple of my other videos at the end of this one that you can watch between now and my next upload. Until then, please treat yourself well, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, friends.